Because, like, I don't know if y'all know, but, like, straight boys do gay shit all the motherfucking time.
They do.
All the motherfucking time. So I was doing, like, gay shit, but it was, like, with the homies, so it wasn't gay.
Right.
But I was like, this is a little gay for me. I like this a lot. I won't tell nobody, Anthony. I won't tell a single soul.
Hi, gay. I'm PJ Brescia, they, them pronouns, your host of the BabyGay Podcast and the founder of the BabyGay community, celebrating the coming out process through storytelling, advocacy, and togetherness. I came out later in life and I knew nothing about queer culture. I'm still not an expert, so let's go on a journey of self-discovery together with amazing guests, diverse coming out stories, LGBTQI plus history, and everything in between. This is the BabyGay Podcast. Coming out looks good on you. Today, we're sitting down at the historic Black Cat in Silver Lake, California with the one and only Horace Gold.
Tis I.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Really appreciate it.
I love that there's French fries being fried in the back.
We're doing it live.
It's the best.
We can have some fries later.
It's the food of my soul, so it feels accurate that it's happening while we're here.
And the food here in general at the Black Cat is phenomenal.
So good. The bread pudding. I want it all the time.
Yeah.
I want it.
Burger is really good. Just like your classic, like, elevated pub. It's a little shout out to Black Cat. Thank you for hosting us.
Rest in peace, Village Idiot. Also, just have to say it.
That was actually one of my favorite places.
Love Village Idiot.
Yeah.
Owned by the same
place. Lindsay Kennedy. Shout out, my BFF.
Love you.
Yeah. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
There's so much I want to talk about. Firstly, when we first met, we have so many mutual friends.
So many.
But then when we connected on a personal level, it was like, oh, we have so many parallels.
Too many.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like family dynamics, sobriety, substance, careers, creative, changing, evolution.
Yeah.
Where do we begin?
Wherever you want.
Let's start from the beginning.
Okay.
God
created the heaven and the earth.
Yep.
There was a firmament and some oceans, I think.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, bang.
And now it's 2025.
There we are. Here we are. Can you believe it?
No, I grew up here. I was homeschooled to two Republican conservative Christian parents. I'm the youngest of 6. I'm the only gay one so far. We don't know. I'm still waiting on a couple. No. But yeah, I was like a really precocious, extroverted kid. I loved sports and music. I was like the gay Troy Bolton of my little homeschool group. Played a lot of sports and started writing songs really young and was really fascinated by just like imagination and escapism and just like art in general and like not being in my world.
Yeah.
I grew up in South Central, which was very, very like gang ridden and sort of crime laden. Before me, when I was growing up, it became more like just families, you know? So it was definitely like the hood, but it wasn't the quintessential sort of like traumatizing hood all the way.
Yeah.
But we were then going to like really elite private schools here in LA. So I was like having this very like high-low experience of like going to schools where like the Wolf of Wall Street was like my friend's dad.
Yeah.
But then like coming home to South Central where like kids are getting shot on the street. And that like sort of juxtaposition has defined so much of my life of like being able to hold nuance because my life has just been like intrinsically nuanced from the beginning.
Yeah.
So yeah, just very like all over the place. I've been very, very been fortunate to be able to see a lot of different world perspectives.
Yeah. I mean, it makes your life just so much more rich.
Yeah.
Like it just, you see what's out in the world on all angles and it just gives you a bigger picture. Like, I don't know, like when I moved I was very much East Coast person, Northeast Coast, and then moving to California on a whim, it just like gave me this empowered feeling of, oh, there is so much more than just this little bubble that I was in.
For sure.
I want to hear more. I mean, I don't know if you want to dive into this, but like what did your day look like in being homeschooled? Like,
it was so fun and isolating at the same time. I would wake up whenever I wanted. So like 10 usually was when I was getting up as a kid. And my mom would always say it's reading, writing, and arithmetic are like the most important things. So I always loved creative writing and like reading history, Greek mythology. That was always my thing. And like basic math was the extent of my mathematical interest. If I can hate that shit. Can I cuss here?
Yeah.
Fuck yes. Yeah. And then I would just like go play sports after. And then like I would write a song for like poetry class or whatever.
And who was teaching these classes?
My mom.
Your mom?
Yeah. So my mom taught all 6 of her children.
Wow.
Into like private schools, Ivy Leagues, all the shit. Like she's truly amazing.
Wow.
So yeah, I was homeschooled from birth until 4th grade for a semester or a month of 4th grade. I went to a school in West Hollywood called the Center for Early Education, which is a private school feeder. And then I hated it. And I was like, I got to get the motherfucker out of here. And I did, and went back to being homeschooled until I was in 9th grade. And then 9th and 10th grade, I went to a private high school. Yet again, was like, I got to get the fuck out of here. And I graduated early, went on American Idol. And that was my educational history.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
I literally finished my, I graduated a year early.
Yeah.
And it was like the perfect time where I could audition for American Idol for the first time.
Wow.
So at 16, I was like, done with school. I don't want to do this. And let's go sing.
That's amazing.
And so I did that. And that went somewhat well, honestly. I got to the top 60 guys, so top 30 guys.
Wow.
And after that, went and made music as an artist and was running around in talks to sign record deals and shit. And then
Is this before Boston?
yes.
Okay.
And then I started drinking super heavily at 18 and I was like, I need to get out of LA. LA is the problem. And so then I moved to Boston to go to music school. Heavy quotes for those of us listening on audio. I did not study a single thing there except Johnny Walker. That was I got a master's in whiskey. And then, went to Berkeley, College of Music. Hated it. I'm not a scholastic person. I don't like a classroom. I'm like, get out of my face. Who are you?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
And then I, left Boston and came back to LA.
So how long were you in Boston for?
A year and a half.
Okay.
Felt like forever. Boston, a minute feels like a year. That place is a dementor from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
If a city was a dementor to suck your soul out of it, Boston, Massachusetts. As you suck in, you literally right after I said that, and that's exactly the sound to describe Boston.
I went to Boston College, so we're just right outside the city.
Chestnut Hill.
Chestnut Hill.
I lived in Brooklyn.
Chestnut Hill. Well. Yeah, right. Where the B line, the C line. I mean, it.
Also, my sister went to BC.
Yes.
So
yes.
And
I remember that. Yeah.
I know it well.
Did you visit her?
I visited her once or twice, but I went to Chestnut Hill more when I was living there because I was living off the sea line. So I would just go straight up to the little reservoir over there.
Yeah.
And
that's where I started running. My journey with running was I started running around the reservoir over there.
An old man asked me to suck his dick in that reservoir.
Oh.
And I got really scared.
Oh,
and
that
didn't
is
do
scary.
it.
That's scary.
Should have. Biggest regret. Miss you. Hope you're well.
So then you moved back to LA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight to Hollywood. Was living in a closet. Literally, I lived in a $600.
Were you in the closet?
No. No. I was fucking in that closet. I was having sex with men in that closet. No, I was just a poor songwriter, just being I'll do whatever it takes. I'm hosting at night, songwriting during the day, just living the hustle, taking meetings here and there, trying to do this, trying to do that. Got a band together. Basically, did that for the next 5 years. Just worked in restaurants and tried to make it as a musician, drank all the way long. And just really thought that was my dream, was the rock star, fucking blah, 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 blah. And didn't work, didn't happen. Have a completely different life now, which I love. But that was my whole identity. So it was a real hard shift at 26 to be this thing I've dedicated my entire life to since I was 13. I am now not doing.
Yeah.
And who am I?
Yeah.
So it's kind of fun. I think it's good to check that, but it was hard.
Did you hit a rock bottom?
For sure.
Yeah.
It started really at 23. So I was working in this really elite restaurant where I was oh, this is a career.
Yeah.
It was and not that I wanted it, but it was the first time that it had even entered my mind that I could have a job that wasn't in the arts or in music at all.
Yeah.
And people at the time, a lot of people were are you an actor? And I was no. And they're I think you're an actor. And I was no, I'm not a fucking actor.
Yeah,
I'm a musician. Shut up.
Yeah.
But it was this thing where I think my identity had been questioned for so long and I hadn't really been answering the call from God or the universe.
Yeah.
And so I think at 23, it was the first time I was do I have to do this? Do I have to be a musician? Be in music? And I wrote a song called What If? And the first line of the song is like, what if I lost my voice? What if I couldn't sing? Would I still feel half as valuable? Like, that was what was on the table, was my value, my identity. What I contribute to the world is tied up in this thing. So if I don't do this anymore, because I actually don't want to.
Yeah.
At 23, I was like, I don't want to fucking do this.
Yeah.
It was when I first started getting like suicidal, because I was like, my entire life is measured by my success as a pop star. And so if I'm failing at that, then I'm failing at life.
Worthless. Yeah.
So I should die. You know, like that was the math that like that my brain moved to. And so when I started to question like, do I need to do this? And then I like got a manager after, and I was like, oh, okay, just kidding.
I do.
I love this.
Yeah.
But like I hadn't actually like seen it all the way through to really like test a different identity. And so then when more hurt came from the music industry, I hadn't healed from that 23-year-old heartbreak and that 23-year-old pondering of a life outside of music.
Yeah.
And so by the time it broke, it was broken. And so I was just dealing with a lot at 25, 26 and drinking over everything. And I didn't have language really to like verbalize the pain I was in, and didn't have really a resource to speak to. I didn't start therapy until I got sober. So I didn't have any, it might've helped, but I also think I needed to have the floor fall out from underneath me. And so, 26, my life kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
It was really 25 and then got sober at 26. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can relate again on all of these different levels. And it's kind of where I feel like on a spiritual level for you, it was being a musician. It's like you work so hard in this one thing and you think this is everything. And when it doesn't happen, it's like, now what?
Literally.
And I believe in a way that it's the universe is like kind of not testing you, but just like, forcing you to expand in this way that you maybe not even think that you can expand to. And it's like, who knows? Maybe your music career is about to blow up. Who knows? But it's like, you have to go through.
I mean, hopefully.
Yeah, it will.
Hopefully.
It will. I mean, it really will. I can sense it. So it's, I do feel like those moments of just like, we hang on to one thing and it's like, it doesn't work out, but it's like, no, that's because you're maybe not, that's not the path. Like the path is supposed to be relatively easy, and it's not in the easy sense of like, it's no work. Like it's going to be all play and you're going to party down that other path.
You shouldn't think about killing yourself.
No.
On the way to the goal.
Correct.
That just like, it doesn't have to be that.
Correct.
And I had romanticized that. Truthfully, that's like my part in the situation, is that I had some really toxic idols. I love, like, Amy Winehouse is the artist of my life. Yeah. Like, she changed me completely to a fault. Love you, Amy Jade, rest in peace, girl. But like, I was, there's a lyric where she says like, you basically got me to come down the stairs with a Marlboro Red. And so like I started smoking Marlboro Reds because of Amy. I was like drinking all, trying to like live the life that she lived in her lyrics. Yeah. The bitch died.
Yeah.
She died.
Yeah, she died.
And like, so did I almost.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so like, I was really emulating that sort of like blood, sweat, and tears, starving artist. Like, if you're not willing to starve for your art, like it doesn't fucking mean anything to you. And now I work in a career where I'm like, it's actually come really easily for me. Yeah. Everything has happened really well and seamlessly, and it's been very, like you were saying before we started, like it feels orchestrated and divine and like meant to be. Yeah. And that has been what's been difficult to process about potentially returning to music. Yeah. Is that like even now, like 5 years after, I'm like, it's never been easy still for me in music. I like, for example, I was like having some really crazy meetings about like being a content creator, blah, 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 signing with this, doing that, all this cool shit. And I'd had a meeting with like a music manager. Great news after great news after great news. The music manager canceled the meeting. And I was like, that's another sign of like, that shit's not working. Right. Even now. Right. Like, and so I just take that of like, okay, like I'm not going to push this thing anymore, because it was really revelatory for me to be able to examine the possibility of like feeling validated and comfortable doing something that wasn't music. And I started acting 5 years ago or 6 years ago now. And like, even that has been this thing where I'm like, oh, I think I love this in a way that's different than music. But also I have made it a point to never make anything like my number one ever again. Yeah. Because what happens when you don't get it? Right. Like, my number one cannot be external validation. My number one cannot be like just wanting to tell people that I'm like a successful artist and songwriter and blah, blah, blah. Like all that, that was the goal. Yeah. Was to be able to say like, look, fucker, I did it. Instead of being like, what does my heart want actually? And so that's been what I'm leading with, of like, what is just like my conscience leading me towards, not just, you know, what's not the story I want to tell people.
And you're also so multifaceted that it's like you don't need to pick one thing. I mean, you just keep doing what comes naturally and all things will happen.
Like, it's a gift and a curse though, the multi-hyphenate.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But I love it. It's like, it's beautiful to be like, what do I want to do? I always say I'm like do you remember those like multicolored pens from the 90s? I have to decide which color pen I am. Yeah. And like, hopefully the color I want to be is the color that I get to click that day. Cause like, that's where it feels weird, where I'm like, oh, like I'm recording a podcast, but like really I would love to be writing a song, or like, oh, I'm in a songwriting session, or like, ooh, this would be a really great podcast conversation that we're having in this, you know? So it's like that alignment is what I'm really hoping.
Do you have a hard time saying present? Like in things?
Yes and no. Like I'm present. I'm someone who gets really, really excited. Really, like, I'm not distracted. I'm like, oh my God, this is fucking amazing. This is God. Like, this is a divine moment right here, right now. Like, and they're like, yes, totally. But like, you are at the bank. Right. So like, actually, do you need you to, you're depositing cash? Cool. Like, yes, money's amazing. But like, there's a line. Shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, I just get really, really turned on. Yeah. And so it's about like channeling that excitement, because that excitement in its pure form is beautiful. Yeah. But like when it's applied, that's when the magic comes. But when I'm like doing one thing, excited about another, that's when I like feel like, what the fuck am I doing? So it's just a matter of like training myself to like align and be excited about what I'm doing when I'm doing it.
Going to your coming out story. Yeah. Can we hear a little bit about that?
Yes. Yeah. I knew I was gay when I was 4. And so there was a specific morning I remember with my sisters. I have 4 sisters and an older brother. But my brother was at boarding school. My dad was a cop, so he was working nights and would sleep all day. So long story short, I spent a lot of time with women. And so there was one morning where it's just me and my 4 sisters, and we're sitting around reading like a teen bop, like Tiger Beat kind of magazine or something like that. And like one sister's like, he's hot. And the other goes, oh, he's hot. And I go, oh, he's hot. And the room goes silent. And my sister Veronica goes, no, you think she's hot. And I like had this like this flood of existential doom hit me at like 4. Yeah. And I was like, never again, shut the fuck up. Like, you're straight. And so that, but it would peak out from like 4 to, it would come out when I was like 9. It would come out when I was like 10, 11, hanging out with like other boys, doing like gay shit. Cause like, I don't know if y'all know, but like straight boys do gay shit all the motherfucking time.
They do.
All the motherfucking time. So I was doing like gay shit, but it was like with the homies, so it wasn't gay. Right. But I was like, this is a little gay for me. I like this a lot. I won't tell nobody, Anthony. I won't tell a single soul. And so I loved the gay shit. Yeah. Obviously. Yeah. And I would get caught doing gay shit, but it was straight, but it was really gay. Yeah, and so really that would happen. Every couple of years, it would pop up a scandal of me jerking off with this boy in a bed, but we weren't touching each other. Or like we were doing this at church camp, but like exactly like, but we would just like do shit like that. Yeah. And then I went into high school, 14, and everyone clocked immediately. Everyone knew, and I was like, "Shut up! I play sports. I'm on the varsity basketball team. Shut up." And then the summer in between freshman and sophomore year, I was 15, and I got my first boyfriend. Ooh. Because my ex-girlfriend was like, I think you're gay. And she's like, you should hook up with this boy, Brandon.
That's really sweet.
Love her, Chloe. Yeah. Hey, Chloe. And she set us up, and we were running around Hermosa Beach, sucking each other's dicks in public.
Whoa. Wow.
And being gay. And then I was bi at the time. Sorry to bi people. I was not bi. Yeah. Bye. And then I went back in the closet when school started.
Junior year.
Sophomore year.
Oh, sophomore year.
And so then got another girlfriend and kept kind of doing that sophomore, junior year, would get a girlfriend.
Did your family know about the first boyfriend?
They found out junior year. The summer in between sophomore and junior year, they found a text message from the first boy, because we had just been like talking on like Facebook or something, but we weren't even flirting, but we were just like catching up.
Yeah.
And she had seen, I guess, messages from us years ago where he had like called me babe or baby or something. So she had seen little glimmers. And then I come home because my parents knew that I was an alcoholic, so they did not let me get my license in high school. Very smart decision. Would have crashed that car. And so my mom picked me up and we were driving back from like deep South Bay, like Torrance PV, back to South Central. And I get home, and my parents also did not let me have Wi-Fi because they knew that they were raising a little faggot. And they were like, we are not letting this boy wank that gay little dick in his room all the day long. No. You are only going to be able to use the internet from the living room. So what I would do is I would take my MacBook, plug in the Ethernet cable, and then download gay porn pictures onto my computer.
Via what, LimeWire?
No, just like you just go on porn sites and just like drag it into your like iPhoto.
Okay.
And so I would do that for months and months and months, got too comfortable and just started leaving my computer around. And then I did not realize that my screensaver was comprised of photos in my iPhoto library. And so I'm coming home one day and my mom's a little more quiet than usual. And she's a little silent. Oh. And I was like, what's up with this bitch? What's going on? I get home, my dad's more stoic than usual. And I was like, literally, what's going on? And my dad was like, so, you want to talk about what's going on your computer? I was like, what are you talking about? And he was like, who are these men? And I was like, Dad, what are you? He's like, what? Why is there porn on my computer? Why is there porn in my living room? And I was like, I'm sorry. And he's like, well, what do you have to say for yourself? And I was like, I don't know, I'm gay. And he's like, oh, you should have just said that from the beginning. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? What are we fucking doing? Are you mad at me or are you good? And he was like, well, who are these men? And I was like, they're porn stars, Dad. I don't know their fucking names personally. I'm so sorry. Do not know them. And then they were like, okay, well, you should have just told us. So I thought it was cool. And then it was not. So it was this like back and forth thing. But ultimately, by the time I was 17, I was out, which is young to some people, felt forever for me because it had been like a 13-year process at that point. So yeah, that's my coming out story. So I came out at 17 and have not done it again. It's
a journey. I mean, do you find yourself still coming out in general in life, or you feel no? That's I'm visibly gay in a way that I really appreciate, where there are some people, like I recently was at like fucking Barney's Beanery in West Hollywood, and I was like kind of butched down because my style ebbs and flows between like gay and straight, but I looked like an East Side straight boy who like they all look a little gay, you know? So this one girl thought I was straight, and I like went to my homies who were straight, and I was like, dude, I look straight tonight? And they're like, kind of. And like, so, but no, I'm very, very, I don't come out. I don't like say like, oh, I'm gay. Or like, oh, by the way, like, no, I think I'm getting to the point where I will have been out as gay for almost as long as I was closeted. Right. So like most of my life now is like openly gay. So it would be weird to continue to present this thing that is more of my normal than not. And presenting the normal as if it was abnormal, I think is something I refuse to do. I think being gay is normal and historical and natural and nothing to apologize for. So I won't offer anyone that apology because I don't feel fucking bad about it. Good. So I just, it's like the sky is blue. I suck dick. That's right.
That's true.
Do you find that your substance usage was linked to queerness at all? Because mine was, for sure.
I think a little bit in high school. I think I wanted to fit in so badly with like my boys that a little bit, but by the time I started drinking really badly, I was already out. And so the majority of my drinking, I would say no. I think I was drinking from more of a place of trying to make up for isolation rather than, because I wasn't hiding anything. I wasn't like closeted or like trying to be someone I wasn't. I just wanted to like fill up this previously depleted cup of social isolation. So I wanted as much as I could get of as many people. But luckily it wasn't around my sexuality. And luckily I never got into like the Tina world that so many people do. I was really spared from that. And like, surprisingly, the Dare commercials did work on me. Like, I didn't do coke until I was like 20 because I was just so scared of it.
Yeah.
And then started doing it. And like, even still, like I smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah.
But that was more because I was just like, I'm from California. Like everyone smokes a bunch of weed.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Tina is meth.
Methamphetamines, Mama Tina. So thankfully that was spared for me. So no, I don't think it was truthfully, I think it was a lot more to do with like the church than it was like, so I guess, yes, by proxy, like the church and my sexuality, but like I had just been told so many times that the church hated me.
Yeah.
And that I was this like selfish loser, gonna go to hell. God will never love you. Christians will never love you. I had a lot of self-esteem stuff that was like really ingrained in me from growing up super religious.
Yeah.
So I think I was kind of drinking to escape that consciousness.
Yeah.
But I don't think it was, I don't think I was drinking to hide my sexuality. Because by that point, like I said, it was already out.
Mine was, I was heavily drinking and doing drugs at an early age. And I think it was from trauma. I lost my mom in high school, and then I just partied and worked really hard. It was like play hard, work hard type mentality through my 20s. And then when I came out at 27, there was like this like weight lifted, on a lot of different fronts, but like also my need to do drugs and party like just kind of like diminished a lot.
Did you know you were gay the whole time?
I would disassociated. Like I knew I was gay. Like there was moments like I had a crush when I was in kindergarten. I had a huge crush on my male babysitter, but like I was aware of that.
Sweetie?
Right, exactly. Like I was aware, but I still was able to just disassociate. So I just like there's a lot of disassociation.
That's really powerful to be able to do that.
It was crazy. I mean, yeah, sure, but it's unfortunate. I mean, like I think everything happens for a reason, so I'm not going to change anything. But like, yeah, I feel sad for my younger self in the sense of like just acting and being a shell and being what I thought other people wanted me to be. So it's really not until my late 20s and now my 30s that I'm like finally becoming my authentic self, looking inward, seeing what do I want? Like, who am I? Like,
and I wonder, this is just me like purely starting rumors, but I wonder if the like dissociative nature of that like closeted identity is what can also aid to the ADHD. You know what I mean? Like sort of holding all of these different plates at the same time of like hiding this version of PJ and this version of PJ and this, and then it's like when that ultimately crumbles and you come out, your brain is still wired to like think about 7 different things at the same time. So I wonder if there's like a link between,
probably.
You know what I mean?
That makes
like
sense.
Just like holding so much mental space.
Yeah.
That's so incredible and scary. And congratulations on surviving, truthfully.
Thank you.
Because there's so many people who just cannot take it.
I think, I really appreciate that. And I don't often think about that. I mean, like my mom passed suddenly, and then 2 weeks later I took the SATs and like just like ignored it and like kept pushing forward because I was in the middle of my like college application process. And it was like, okay, we're just going to ignore this major thing. And she was like driving it for me. And it was like, okay, now I lost her. So keep going, take the SATs, get into school, go to the best school that you get into. And just like, I like when I got to college, like I didn't tell any of my new friends about my mom. Like I ignored it. Like they're like, oh, like where's your family? Oh, my dad, my sibling, blah, blah. And then if no one, then most people would just not ask about, they're like, where's your mom? And like the ones I did, I just like I don't think I would lie, but I just like, oh, she died. And I was like, okay. And moving on.
Like a month ago.
Yeah, like a month ago. So it's very crazy the protection that you will do to just like, protect your inner child, I guess. I mean, I think part of life's journey is to like pull back those protective layers and like really kind of see.
I have 3 guesses of your sign.
Tell me.
You're either a Scorpio, a Capricorn, or a Virgo. None?
Pisces. Double Pisces.
Whoa, fake bitch.
Gemini rising. So,
Wow.
which I was always really not ashamed of, but I'm like, Geminis are like two-faced. Like that's not a good thing. But
I thought that was Pisces. I thought it was 2 fish.
Pisces, I don't know.
That's truly amazing because I cannot keep a secret to save my life. So
Well, so going on, that's interesting. So like, I think what I have found in my dating of men, maybe this is LA specific, but I highly doubt that. But I have found that honesty is an issue that I keep coming up against with partners, and it's annoying. And I don't want to deal with liars. Like but I've really thought a lot about this. I'm like, oh, maybe there's some correlation with the fact that we've been lying for so long in the closet.
It's second nature.
That it's second nature, and it's the safe space. And also, that's why, I find, maybe this is also LA specific, like the rampant cheating on the grinders of it all. And it's like people go to that because that's the only thrill that they can get. Like they're in like a committed relationship, but then doesn't have that secrecy like that. Like,
yeah, I don't think it's LA specific, and I don't think it's thrill seeking personally.
Yeah.
I think gay men are all the results of trauma.
Yeah.
To grow up closeted is traumatic.
Yeah.
And I also believe that our homeostasis 9 times out of 10 is chaos. And so generally speaking, for anyone who grew up with like chaos as a through line, more often than not, they're going to recreate that chaos when things feel too normal and stable.
Yeah.
Because what they know and the safety that they know is that chaos.
Yeah.
So I think that it is, and I think as far as like the honesty thing goes, the standard has been lying to everyone.
Right.
We haven't had a holistic upheaval sort of like reinvestment really into like the gay community, where we're telling people that to be honest is okay.
Yeah.
And that to be truthful and to be gay is okay.
Yeah.
And so I feel like because, and like I had an experience where I never really had a choice to be out or not. Like when my sophomore year, the only other gay kid in the school spent his entire year bullying me into coming out. And so I was like, I can't even like fucking avoid this girl. Like, stop, leave me alone, And like, but it was this thing where I got called a faggot when I was like 5 or 6, you know? So like before I learned what the word was by being called it.
Same.
So like, that's why I use the word faggot loosely, because it is this thing that like I have had to reclaim, and I take a lot of pride in being a faggot.
Yeah.
And like, I love that we're at the Black Cat, because like people don't realize that like this is like the Stonewall of LA.
Yeah,
like
literally.
it was happening here. The AC Center was happening here.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think I've done the work, not to be like I've done the work, but like I have done the work to get rid of the shame around being gay. And I think when we have like not processed the trauma that we are moving through, it doesn't go anywhere. Right. Like it doesn't just resolve itself.
Right.
And so I do think it still manifests in the dishonesty, in the adultery, in whatever it might be, because it is just unresolved trauma that I think a lot of us, most gay people, have been traumatized around it.
Exactly. I would say, I think it's safe to say all queer people have suffered childhood trauma.
There are some who haven't. I know some people who haven't, and they're like really fucking normal about it, which is,
that's good.
They're
That's
lucky, right?
Yeah, they're lucky, and they're the outliers,
right.
I would say.
Right.
Probably.
And like, I think that it's like important that we highlight that it's possible, and I think especially for people as like our generation's getting older and people start to have kids, like it is possible to treat your child like a normal fucking human being.
Right.
There are people who have experienced that.
Yeah.
And I think that like we don't all, because I think that that's why we've normalized these like sort of blanket expectations on gay people. Like personally, I don't love when people ask me, if I don't know you, do not ask me if I'm a top or bottom.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know you.
Yeah.
If I'm not naked in your fucking bed.
Thank you.
You have no need to know how I have sex.
I had a straight coworker ask me that. I'm like, am I asking you, do you like doggy or missionary with your wife? Like I never would ask that.
So so like I'm allowed to have boundaries.
Yeah.
I'm allowed to like decide holistically. I don't want to be in an open relationship. I'm allowed to like say these things from my experience as a gay man, because when we say that all of us have had one experience, not all of us, it's like, no, I'm actually like kind of okay with like being with one person for the rest of my life. I'm kind of okay with like not continuing to like hide my sexuality, which is why you're like, do you still come out? I'm like, fuck no.
Yeah.
I came out when I was 17.
Yeah.
I'm 31.
Yeah.
I came out. I don't continue to do this thing, and so I think that there's we have more autonomy over how we exist.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And like, I think that we're allowed to decide for ourselves rather than performing what other gays are doing or what other queer people are doing or what straight people want us to do. I don't know if I want to have kids. I don't know.
Yeah.
I might,
that's okay.
I might not.
Yeah.
You know?
That's how I feel.
Like, and I don't feel the need to recreate this like heteronormative nuclear family.
Well, that's where I find I too skew monogamous, which I find is the unnormal choice here. And there is this strong kind of fight back of, because we're queer, we should not follow any heteronormative standards. But like, what if I just want, like, what if that's what I want?
I'm
like,
trying not to go to prison.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's truly why I'm monogamous, because I'm like, I will kill someone.
Yeah.
Might be myself.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
But like, someone's going to die.
Right.
If we're in an open relationship.
Yeah.
So let's just like not send me to fucking prison, babe.
Yeah.
I just know myself.
Yeah.
You know, and like, I also grew up with parents who were still married, you know? So like, I do have that desire of like, yeah, I want to be fucking married. My parents have been married for 40 fucking years. Like,
That's amazing.
It was really amazing for me to grow up knowing that like, they were always going to be stable and that like, my parents are together.
Yeah.
And like, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
I want to be married,
Yeah.
you know? So I don't know. I think that I've been, and this is going to sound like pick me in a way, but I have been trying to push back against a lot of the like cliches of like quintessential gay stereotypes. Like, I've started exclusively drinking hot black coffee because I've been like, fuck you. Okay. I don't have to drink iced coffee just because I'm gay.
Yeah.
I love iced coffee.
Yeah.
But like, sometimes it's cold.
Yeah.
And I want a hot coffee. Okay. Like, we are allowed to exist in multiple ways. I'm
Yeah.
allowed to like sports. I'm allowed to play sports. I'm allowed to like be involved in so many, if you know, like in the black community, we often say like black people are not a monolith. And I think it's time that like the queer and gay community says the same thing. Like, we do not all have to, because I say all that to say, I needed that as a kid.
Yeah.
I needed more athletic gays, more artistic gays, more gays because I was so afraid as a child that I was going to lose myself and that I was going to like immediately just become like, oh, Horace likes music and acting because he's gay.
Right.
And it's like, no, I just like to sing, man. Like,
Right.
that's it. Like,
Right.
it wasn't because I was gay. I'm singing like
Right.
Gavin DeGraw is my favorite artist. What are you talking about?
Right.
Like, so I think it's not to say that I don't love gays and that I don't have anything in common with gay people. I love Kim Petras. I'm on Grindr. I like do all the shit. Like, I'm fucking gay as hell. I live in LA. Like, a lot of the stereotypes I do participate in, but I think it's also important that we are allowed to not
Be more than that.
I think
Yeah.
so. And I think that true autonomy is what will rid us of a lot of the shame that we're talking about.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, at least for me in my youth, it felt like I was making an exchange of like, well, if I'm this, then I have to give up that. And if I, and the shame around having to make that decision and the shame around the grief of that decision, right? This idea that we like just must lose ourselves because of who we want to have sex with,
Yeah.
and because of who we love and are attracted to.
Yeah.
That didn't feel, I was like, this isn't a great deal.
Yeah.
It's not a bargain.
You're right. Right.
So I think we should be able to just be like, hey, this is me.
Yeah.
And I'm gay.
That's how I mean, I'm still working on, struggling with. Like, as I entered the community late, like, I felt not really a part of any of these groups, you know, the different categories, like, and I still don't feel aligned with anything. And I'm just like, you know what, I'm just going to be me. And like, I can create my own category. Like, it, you know, and I will find the people that I connect with. Like, that's where I lean back into my spirituality with the universe. Don't chase, attract. Don't chase, attract. Just chase everything. Don't chase, attract. And like, that's how I feel like that's where you'll find the most authentic relationships and friendships and everything like that. So, so anyone that's struggling to find what group they're in, don't worry about it. Just be yourself.
And it's really what I was saying in like the little clip we shot before. It's like, we don't have to change ourselves.
Yeah.
And like do anything we're uncomfortable with.
Yeah.
To be gay.
Yeah.
There is no requirement, you know? And like, I say that also, as someone who loves high femme gay shit.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not a toxic mask for mask gay either.
Yeah.
I love me a pop song.
Yeah.
I, like love a movie musical. Like I do, but I
Yeah.
also love sports and I love lifting weights. And I like both of these parts of me. I was watching a women's college basketball final in West Hollywood during the Drag Race finale viewing.
Yeah.
I was watching both of I was like, this is me, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, and this is who I am.
Yeah.
And we should all be able to enjoy ourselves, because if we're so queer and so strange, might as well be able to be as weird as I fucking want to be.
Literally, do whatever the fuck you want. Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. What are some personal goals of yours? Hey, baby gays. If you're enjoying the podcast and you're interested in learning more about the baby gay community, make sure to visit our website at www.baby.gay to discover more info about our events, merch, and all the ways to connect. And of course, don't forget to subscribe and share. Love you. What are some personal goals of yours? You know, you said you want to maybe get married. Like, what are
yeah. At some point.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm married to the money. I'm trying to stack a bag.
Yeah.
I got out of a relationship in August, and I have never been as tapped into my Sagittarius energy as now.
Are you a Sagittarius?
Completely.
Okay.
And like sun.
Give us, what is that? What are the characteristics?
Freedom, independence.
Okay.
Some would say impulsive. Don't fuck with us. But yeah, I think I was in a relationship, and it was like the first real serious thing, and I like love this person still and care about and pray for this person still. But it was a situation where I felt so confused and so like challenged, because I thought that like love was the goal, not realizing that like love was literally the very first step, and that like you have to continue to be compatible even once you love someone. And so I think I'm currently in a season of like, I'm not celibate, but not seeking.
Yeah.
Because I know that I am healing and I'm focused on like my work and my friends.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like my goals this year are to hang out with my friends more.
Yeah.
And like just be involved in my communities more often. So like my podcast, Hardly Qualified, I always love when creators do this. It's like, we at Hardly Qualified, bitch, it's you. It is literally just you. There's no one else there. Who is the we mama? Me and my subconscious equals we, I guess. But I have a podcast that I've, started, and it's really about just like exploring a bunch of different things that I'm not qualified to fucking talk about, that I'm so interested in, because that sort of curse of the multi-hyphenate is being like, oh, I wish I could have done this or done that or done that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, now I have a podcast where I could like talk about these things that really intrigue me. And so building that out has been so beautiful and gratifying to feel the beauty of independence, I think.
Yeah.
What about you? What are your goals? I hate coming on podcasts because then I just talk about me the whole time. What about you? We're flipping this.
My goals, I mean, right now my goal is to make BabyGay a international nonprofit and help people throughout the world with their coming out process. Truly, like that's, and speaking about, I had this idea of what my career would be. And if you told my younger self you're going to be a queer nonprofit starter and queer activist, I would have been like, shut the fuck up, I'm straight. So it was like, I throughout my 20s, it was like me trying all these different careers, which all went well. Like nothing ended for me in a like fiery blaze where I was like, that's definitely not. It was all like, everything was like decently, I could have done any of these jobs, but they were not fulfilling. And I was seeing my bosses and like mentors in the business, and I was like, do I want to trade places with them? And the answer was no in all the cases. So fast forward to like coming out, and then like this kind of just sprouted organically through sharing my story, my coming out story later in life, and
making a film,
and just like every one little thing led to the next, and it's been this unbelievable journey, and it feels divinely guided, and I never planned it and never expected it, but it's been like I'm being pushed, and the doors are opening because I'm being put. And
so, what does that look like for you? What does that divination like show up like for you?
In regards to like
just like knowing that like higher power, higher self is calling you to do something. Are there like patterns that you see that are like, oh, I'm headed in the right direction?
Well, like magical things will just happen. Like I'll meet someone at this event, and then I'm like, I feel really connected to them. Like we should get together. And then I get together with them, and then they're like, you want to come and be a part of this? And I'm like, fuck yeah. And then that turns into like this massive opportunity that I could have never ever thought about, dreamt of, planned, but it just because of I'm following the inner voice of what feels good.
Totally.
And it's like the most insane. Okay, so for example, like this past October, BabyGay and the Black Cat, we had our second annual National Coming Out Day event, which was amazing.
There was a step and repeat.
Margaret Cho was our headliner. Shout out. Amazing. Thank you. And, the first year we had this event, 2023, it was great. We, BabyGay and Black Cat worked really well together. I love Lindsay. We're like, let's do this. Let's do more. Let's do this annually. So like, we're like, okay, so we're planning year 2. And like I had worked with the city council members in a Pride event at the AT Center in last June, and then really made some great connections. And then just like little by little, I was like, hey, from people from the city, do you want to be a part of our National Coming Out Day event? And it just like snowballed into this larger thing where now the city, BabyGay and Black Cat all together are officially recognizing National Coming Out Day as an LA City holiday.
That's so crazy.
I never could have planned that.
Yeah.
And it was just like little by little like miracles. So that's where I am very much like try to find what makes you feel fulfilled and then go towards that. And when the doors start just opening kind of automatically, it's like, yeah, keep going. And I'm very like, in a woo sense, spiritually, like numbers, I'm very much into numerology, like the 222s, the 333, like those all mean different things if you look them up. But my numbers are 3s and 7s. And so like, I'll see, when I'm in a flow state, I'll be working during a day, or like when I was shooting, it was like, every time I looked at the clock, it was like 1:37, 3:37, 5:37. I'm like, yep, keep going, check, like you're going in the right direction. So like,
I had the exact same experience.
Yeah.
My number is 117.
Okay.
And so I started seeing it when I was like in a really gnarly space of my life. And then I would like just continue to see it over and over. Like it's like a 10 years long situation. And then there was one day where I was working at Mama's Shelter in Hollywood. And I printed out this guy's check who was at my table, and I brought the check over, and it was $11.17. And I was like, oh, dude, how fucking weird is this? They're like, I keep seeing this number everywhere. Yeah. And he's like, we know what it means, right? And I swear to God, he was like possessed by a muse. Yeah. And he was like, well, it means you're headed in the right direction. And I had this like everything everywhere all at once sort of like replay of every time I had seen 117. And I continue to see it now. Yeah. And it is why I asked about like the signs of divination, because I think it's really important that we're able to recognize the difference between higher self and lower self. Some would say God and Satan, whatever, blah, that sort of like yin yang. I think it's important to be able to know when the call is coming. Yeah. Because if it's just, it felt right. Yeah. Yeah. That for me, I'm like, I have fucked that up quite a few times. Yeah. But actually being able to recognize that I'm like, oh, this is like divine. Yeah. Continue. Go forth, my son. Yeah. That's fucking amazing.
No, it was just, yeah, exactly.
Did all that come post coming out?
And like, and another vivid example. So my coming out was pretty like, not traumatic, but it was like, it was all the things I was running from all kind of came crumbling down at once, like including career. So like I ended up leaving a job. There was toxic elements of that job. I'm now heavily in therapy. One of my therapists is like, you need to start journaling. I was really like...
I'm sorry, hold your thought, because I literally thought you were going to say, you need to start jerking off.
You need to start jerking off. You must let it out. So no, you need to start journaling. And then I finally do that. And I go to Staples and I pick out, there's one, also one of the things that like, I know there'll be one, if you're in a store and you're looking for something, there'll be like one of it left and it's like in the wrong place. And you're like, wait, that's exactly what I want. And it's like, so that's kind of like a thing for me where I know I'm like going in the right direction. But I was going to buy a journal to start journaling. There was one left. It was green, which is my color, my mom's favorite color. Like I felt like aligned with that. And I go to check out at Staples and I go to pay. And somehow with some coupon that I didn't even know existed, which was on my account, which I didn't really have an account, they're like, this is free. And I was like, wait, what?
Pretty privileged, also God. Same time. Who knows?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wait, I'm going to switch things up. Yeah. Because I want to see what questions you asked me. Great. Okay. And then I'm going to ask them to you. Okay. So
they're pretty specific for you.
Okay. But... Ooh. No, this is a good one. Okay, I have a good one.
Okay.
How do you balance your public identity with your private life?
I'm struggling with it.
Mm-hmm.
I am struggling with it. I think, in my social media presence journey, like the first time I had talked about being gay on social media was during the pandemic. It was 2020, and I downloaded TikTok, and that was the first time I ever I started sharing my story, but it was in the guise of this web series that I was developing.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought I was going to get this character and play with that. But then ultimately just be me sharing my stories. Yeah. And it was really empowering to kind of just let it all out there. But then I personally got burnt out about, and that's where when you first started, you're like, it's all about me talking and it's exhausting. I'm that's where I got there. And I'm I don't want to make another video.
Yeah. And so how did that journaling go?
Journaling, I journal every day. Journaling is
How many pages do you do?
I have books.
I feel like my hand would hurt.
I have books.
Does your hand
hurt?
hurt?
I do one page a day.
Okay.
I do one page in the morning. It takes about 20 minutes. And it has changed my life.
Did you actively complete The Artist's Way? Are you the only person I know who's okay?
No.
Cool. I don't know a single person.
No,
who's ever completed
I've done
it.
3 chapters max. But I do love the morning pages, and I do love the idea of the artist date. It's on my calendar.
Yeah.
Do I do it? No.
I think everyone gets to that, the way and the date, and then the pages and the date, and then you're like, okay, thank you so much, Julia.
Yeah.
Julia, this was amazing.
It was great.
Oh my god,
this was great.
Let's do this again.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I tried to
finish the book.
I tried to restart it with a group of friends 6 months ago, and we started, and then it fell apart. It's hard.
Yeah,
it's hard.
It's hard. Okay, I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay.
Oh, should I save this? Or should you?
Well, that's so. I do want to. I mean, I will both go. But so the first time's a segment.
Okay, great.
That's kind of our last segment of the podcast usually. So our guest shares their first kiss, their queer kiss, first queer crush, first queer date, first queer sexual experience, whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Should I do it now?
Yeah.
Okay, my first gay kiss was the same day as my first sexual experience. Same day as my first date. It all happened. 15. Okay, so in real life, this person has transitioned. So I'm going to use our pronouns from when we were
15.
Children.
Okay.
But she is a woman.
Okay.
But in this story, she was not.
Okay.
So we're talking about then, not now.
15-year-old version of them.
So, yes. And so we went on a date in Hermosa Beach, California. And we walked around and got some sort of fry or ice cream situation. And we were both wearing cut off jean shorts and beanies. And that was the indie look of being a South Bay gay teenager at the time. And then we were walking around and we were sort of hee-hee-ha-haing. And then we found a corner and just started making out. Really aggressively, tongue, hardcore. And I was like, okay, this kind of hurts because your mustache is growing in.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
And then we would continue to walk around and just suck each other's dicks all around the city in public. Neither of us had a car.
Wow.
So we were on a playground, really doing shit we could have gotten arrested for.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And that was all the same day.
Wow.
And then I lost my virginity at 17 to a different person. And that was in my childhood bedroom. And it was beautiful and loved it. And then we broke up. We went to prom and then we broke up. Night of prom.
Wow.
And what else were there? What other first was it? First kiss?
Was the breakup prom? Was it?
We hated each other.
Okay.
And we hated each other and it's actually fun. It's kind of tied to my drinking. He didn't want to drink. I had a drink. And so something happens to me where as soon as I take one drink, the light is on. Let's fucking run it. I start needing to get drunk. And so then they didn't want to keep drinking. And I was like, you let the bear out of the cage, motherfucker.
We can't go back,
you promised me a drink.
Yeah.
Let's go. And basically blew up this friendship, relationship, everything at 2 a.m. in Manhattan Beach, California. A lot of my story was in the South Bay. as a kid.
Interesting.
So a lot of my
Yeah.
first gay stuff is in the most like not gay,
I know that's like a bro-y area.
Super.
For anyone who doesn't know that area. It's pretty bro-y.
which makes me up.
Right.
Like sometimes I look super gay, and then sometimes I'm like, "What's up, dude?
Yeah.
What's going on?"
Yeah.
What about you? First, 27. We're 28.
I was 27. It was kind of similar in the sense that a lot happened all on the first day. It was my first date. It was the first guy that I like met up with from Tinder. And we went on a date, and the date went well. And I just remember like early on in the date, somehow it came out. I was like, "Oh yeah, this is my first like gay date," but like, don't worry about it. Like, let's just, like, he's
My
like,
mom and dad are
"What?"
together. Don't worry about it.
He's like, "What?" Like, I just remember he was like, "What?" Like, he was concerned about that, and I was like, we're moving past. We're just gonna go through that. And then we both got drunk. We went to his apartment and we hooked up.
Hot.
And it was hot.
Yeah.
And I was.
What did you feel like after?
There was so much anticipation. I just remember like, I am so excited to suck a dick right now. Like, I think I verbally said that before I sucked his dick. Like, I'm not even kidding.
And that
like,
was the first time.
yeah.
You didn't have like any like flickers of.
No, I had what you had previously discussed. I had like the jerking off next to friends,
Yeah.
straight friends.
I'm telling you, it happens a lot.
It happens all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of that, but I did not have any, like, I remember there was like moments in high school where it was like, we're playing truth or dare. And I would like desperately wanted people to dare me to like kiss
a boy.
Scott. Yeah. Kiss a boy. I was like, I'll do it. I'll do it. I promise.
Are you want to kiss a boy? And they're like,
Yeah.
"No, Patrick,
Yeah,
we told you to."
no one wants you to
no
do
one said
that.
actually.
Yeah. No one.
Oh, sorry, guys. I just thought I heard that. Sorry, forgive me.
Gus, like I really wanted to kiss you at that point.
Aw.
And yeah, so there was just like a lot. And then Boston College, as you may or may
Oh
not
my god,
probably know, it's like
Boston Closet.
Exactly, it's called Boston's Closet. So another one's happened over there.
So true.
And it wasn't until I studied abroad. I didn't even kiss anyone. I just I could look back and I fell in love with my intercombio. But
Well, and it's interesting. I was going to bring that up too. It's like, I think it was important for me to learn the difference between falling in love with a man and like having male friendships. Because like, I was in the sauna with like one of my straight boys. And like, this is like a couple weeks ago, naked, ass out, hanging out.
which one? Wisma?
We go to our gym downtown. I'm not going to dox myself, but
Okay.
at our gym.
Okay.
And we were in the sauna talking, and we were talking about like one of like our friends, Alex, and I was like, blah, blah, blah. I was like, Alex is like the hottest guy in the fucking world. And he was like, "You're in love with Alex." And I was like, "I am in love with Alex." I was like, "I'm in love with all of my boys." And like, to be able to say that naked in a sauna to my straight friend, I'm in love with all of my straight friends. But like, I don't want to fuck
Right.
these are my brothers.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that was like a beautiful element of being gay that I was afraid I was going to lose.
Yeah.
Was like just the genuine adoration of men. Like, all men love men.
Yeah.
Some of us want to fuck men.
Yeah.
But I want to like have sex with men and also be brothers with men at the same
Yeah.
time, you know? And that's been like the most beautiful gift of being able to tell the difference between like, am I in love with you? Or do I just like have this amount of love for any given man? You know, because it was confusing for me too, where I was like,
Yeah.
I think I'm in love with my friends.
Yeah.
But it's like, I actually wasn't.
Yeah.
I really loved you because you're my boy. But
Right. I have love for
I have
you,
love for
but
you.
I'm not in love with
but
you.
I don't actually want to fuck you.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
like, that has been something that has been so relieving to see clarity around. And that is what I got from coming out.
Yeah.
So I couldn't imagine that, like, I mean, I hate to say, like, I couldn't imagine that because that sounds patronizing, but I'm like, hats off to you for being able to really like traverse this, because I was confused at fucking 16.
Yeah.
You know, without real like damage
Yeah.
to be made, you
Yeah.
know, but like, you really delicately traversed what could have been super.
It could have been, yeah. Oh, there's a version of me. I could have been dead already, like for sure. I mean, the amount of the crazy positions I put myself in my closeted like party days was really scary. And I was scary, dangerous places. But you just got to keep pushing through and try to avoid that if
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
But thank you for being here.
Thank
This
you
has
for
been
having me.
incredible.
Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you on social?
Yes. Find me on TikTok at Horace Gold. My podcast and YouTube channel are called Hardly Qualified. And I just want to say to anyone who's coming out and listening to this for the first time, like, go at your own pace. There is no handbook or set in stone description of what it should be or means to be gay. It is a decision. You decide to be gay. So when you decide, just kidding. But when you are coming out, like, it's yours. And no one can tell you what it should or should not look like. It's yours. And I wish someone had told me that when I was younger. You know, those who matter don't mind, and those who mind don't matter.
Yeah. And if they don't support you, then they shouldn't be in your life.
Welcome.
Yep.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Bye.